So thank you all so much for getting on with me today. I am Lorenzo Brown, and I am the Executive Director of the Is Able Center located here in Birmingham, Alabama. I want to thank Alexander Bimes with Alabama Care for giving me the opportunity to share with you all on this platform today. Alexander came to me with a wonderful idea, and we agreed to allow me to come to you once a month with some informational as well as inspirational topics. And so I will be with you all the second Monday at 1:15 p.m. For 12 months. So I've already did a few. So I'll be with you throughout the month of November. And so I'm so excited for that, and so grateful for the opportunity to share with you on this platform. So let's get into our conversation today. I want to have a conversation with you all today. You can put your any type of comments or questions or anything you would like to say inside of the chat box, and throughout our conversation I'll be checking the box and I'll reply to you there. So let's get going today. So the topic of our conversation today is the end of something can be the start of something new. The end of something can be the start of something new. The way that I came up with that topic is a friend of mine, she tagged me in a post on Facebook. And when I took a look at the post, it was an old picture of me sitting in the hallway of the nursing home that I was in. I must have been about 18, maybe 19 years old at the time, and probably a little over a year being paralyzed, and I was in a nursing home. And I don't even recall that picture being taken before. I'd never seen the picture. But as I looked at the picture, I just began to be flooded with emotions and overcome with all types of thoughts about the pain that I was in during the time that picture was taken, the hardships, the trials, the tribulations, the heartaches, the heartbreaks, and I'm just overwhelmed, and literally I just began to bawl with tears because I am so amazed by the goodness of God and how far He had brought me from to be where I am today, and to take a look back at a picture of me being an 18, 19-year-old kid sitting in the hallway of a nursing home, a facility that is designed for elderly care. I was just overwhelmed, so amazed. But I took a look at something that my friend had wrote on the side of the picture. She had wrote, the end of something can be the start of something. I was like, wow. She wrote this before she saw my outcome. She wrote this during the time that I was going through the trials and tribulations and all of the pain that I was experiencing in my life. The end of something can be the start of something. Think about the situation that you're experiencing in your life right now. Maybe you are a parent who has given birth to a child that was born with some type of disability, and now you're left wondering, what do I do with this child? What's going to become of this child's life? What's going to become of my life? Maybe you are the person that was born with the disability, and you're tired of being different. You're struggling, you're confused. Or maybe you acquired a disability some type of way. Maybe your limbs, your arms or legs were amputated. You lost your sight, you became blind. You lost your ability to hear, you became deaf. Or maybe like me, you became paralyzed. You lost your ability to to feel or move, to use your legs, to use certain parts of your body. And now you're confused. You don't understand what's going to become of my life. What am I going to do with my life? What's next for me? There's a lot of anger, a lot of issues that you're dealing with on the inside. And even though I was smiling on that picture, I was smiling for the camera, but on the inside there was so much pain, so many things that I was trying to figure out. And I want to have a conversation with you about those things today. And I really want to touch on three things that can stop you from living your best life. Three things. Okay, point number one. The first thing that can stop you from living your best life is having a poor attitude. That's exactly what I had. My attitude was so poor. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to bathe. I didn't want to dress. I didn't want anybody visiting me. I didn't want to open up the shades in my room. I just wanted to lay in bed and die. I wanted to waste away. I had a poor attitude. And the reason why I had a poor attitude was because I was disabled. I didn't want to be disabled. I didn't want to be in a nursing home. I didn't want to live with the circumstances that I had. And so I had a poor attitude. I made the mistake of letting my circumstances define me instead of me defining my circumstances. See, here's what I'm trying to say to you is that you can have some poor circumstances, but you cannot have a poor attitude if you expect to move beyond the situation that you're in. A poor attitude will keep you stuck. And I remember I had an encounter with God one night that kind of changed my entire perspective, changed my whole attitude about the way that I was viewing life. I was laying in bed one night. I was so depressed. And I was thinking to myself how I just feel like a burden on the world. I feel like a burden on everybody. And how, everyone who's supposed to love me is not here. And I'm just having the biggest pity party in the world. And I started thinking about the word love. And how backwards I felt love was. And as I was thinking that, I began to spell the word love backwards. E-V-O-L. And as I spelled the word love backwards, I thought to myself, those are the very first four letters in the word evolution. Then I thought to myself, evolution means to bring about a change. And I mean, just like I'm talking to you right now, I literally heard the audible voice of God say to me, son, I had to change you to show you that I love you. Then God said to me, you're going to have to learn to live again before you learn to walk again. Totally opposite of the way that I was thinking about life, the viewpoint that I had on life. I was thinking to myself that in order for me to have any type of life, in order for me to live again, I'm going to have to walk again. But then here God saying something totally different. He's saying you're going to have to learn to live again before you learn to walk again. And it changed my whole perspective about the way that I was viewing life. And it changed my whole attitude. And I said to myself, I'm going to start getting out of bed and I'm going to start learning how to live. I started taking a bath. I started putting clothes on. I started, getting up and eating my dinner and, getting involved in things that was going on in the nursing home. And I'm telling you, I didn't want to. I had 80 and 90-year-old people around me. Most of them were senile. And here I am, an 18-year-old kid in my right mind. And I'm playing, bingo, with elderly people. I didn't want to do that. But I said, I'm going to learn how to live. And then I said, I'm going to start going to things out in the community. I started asking some of the people in the place, if they'll take me out to, to Tuskegee University, to some of the basketball games at Tuskegee and different things that was going on in the community. Tuskegee, a little small town, so it really wasn't much going on. But, but I got out to the basketball games and different things like that in the community. I just started learning how to live. I just I moved from having a poor attitude to a positive attitude. And it started changing everything in my life. See, let me tell you something. Even when I had the physical use of my legs, I still wasn't moving anywhere. It wasn't until I lost the physical use of my legs, until the physical use of my legs came to an end, that I started to see that I could move towards something in life. It's all about your perspective. It's all about your attitude. You a parent, that you got a child that's born with a disability. I know that your child is different from other people, children. And yes, there is a different level of care that you're going to have to give that child. But what I'm trying to tell you, don't view that child as being, useless or not being able to have a life or do things that other children can't do. It's all about the attitude and perspective that you have towards that child. You were born, you having with a disability, you're not having to do things differently. Yes, you are different from other people. That's the truth of the matter. But that doesn't mean that you can't do things just like everybody else can, that you can't accomplish things just like everybody else can. If you acquired a disability, became blind, became deaf, whatever, became paralyzed, whatever the situation is, you had your limbs amputated. Yes, I know that it's hard, but what I'm trying to tell you is that your attitude, your perspective is what's going to make the difference. Circumstances, they don't define who you are. You define those circumstances. Point number 2. What can stop you from living your best life? Point number 2. Waiting on others to make things happen for you. Waiting on others to make things happen for you. That can stop you from living your best life. Now, if you are an individual that lives with a disability, no matter what type of disability you have, no matter how independent you are, the truth of the matter is that you are always going to need somebody to help you with something or help you in some type of way. That just comes with the territory. That comes with living with a disability. You're always going to need somebody to help you. But what I'm trying to say to you is that when you become so dependent upon other people that you don't try to do anything, take the initiative to do anything, you're always sitting around waiting on other people to make things happen for you, it's going to keep you stuck. Because yes, you're going to receive assistance from loved ones. You're going to receive assistance, from the resources that come from organizations in the community. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to make life happen for you. Yeah. You want to graduate school and go to college and get a degree? Yes, loved ones are going to assist you. Organizations in the community are going to give you the resources to make that happen, but it's up to you to graduate school and get the degree. You want to have a family, get married, have a family? It's up to you to care for that family. You want to, get a job? You may get help from and assistance from loved ones, resources from the community, organizations in the community to get the job, but it's not the organization or other people's responsibility to lead you to keep the job. You still got to get up and go to work on time. You still got to do your job when you get there. And you got to leave all the excuses out the door, and don't be using your disability as an excuse. You want to start your own business? You can do all of those things, but you can't sit around and wait on other people to do it for you. I remember that there was this one particular lady. First of all, I can't tell you the number of people that have come into my life and has assisted me. I can't tell you the number of people that are standing beside me right now that are assisting me. And I'm so grateful for all the people that has assisted me along my journey, and so grateful for all the people that, stand beside me right now. I couldn't do it without them. But I remember along my journey, there was this one particular lady who came in and really embraced me. I mean, she came in during a time of my life when I was really down, emotionally, mentally. Just couldn't see the light of day. And she came in and just really embraced me. She made a lot of things happen for me. She helped me get out of the nursing home in Tuskegee to a better nursing home in Montgomery. While I was at the nursing home in Montgomery, she connected me to all type of resources in the community that could help me. She helped me get my very first power wheelchair. And man, I can't tell you how that changed my life to go from, having to use a manual wheelchair and somebody pushing me around to now using a power wheelchair where I can go and come like I want. I mean, I was catching the bus to the mall. I was doing everything. I was living my best life. And this lady also helped me get out of the nursing home in Montgomery to a transitional living unit here in Birmingham, Alabama. She even drove me from Montgomery in her personal vehicle to come to Birmingham to the transitional living unit. I was in this transitional living unit for about a year and 9 months. And the time had came for me to transition out of it. And I wanted to get my own apartment. I wanted to get my own place. And I remember how excited I was about it. And I was going to call this lady and tell her, and I was just sure that she was going to get on board and help me just like she helped me with everything else. She had made so many things happen for me. But when I got on the phone, she said something that I didn't expect. She answered the phone. I said, my time is coming up and I got to, transition out of here. I think I want to get my own apartment. She got quiet and she said, then she responded and she said, honey, I so admire you for wanting to do that, but I just don't know if you can stay on your own. She said, I really think that it's best if you go back to the nursing home for a little while until you can think through some things and get some things together. Now, I really believe she said that out of love. And I really believe that she thought that was the best thing for me. I mean, you got to keep in mind, I was paralyzed from my chest down to my feet. I couldn't do anything for myself. And I'm in Birmingham, Alabama, and I don't have nobody. I don't know anybody. At that time, I was only getting an SSI check. I think it was like $540 some a month. I was broke. And I'm talking about getting my own place living in Birmingham, Alabama. So I know what she said was out of love. But I had to make a decision. A decision that I know today, at that time, was the defining moment of my life. So what was I going to do? Here I was on the phone with the person that I had depended on for literally everything. But she's not on board with my next move. So now that the person that I was depending on making this happen for me is not on board, do I take her advice and go back to the nursing home? Or do I take the bull by the horns and go ahead and do what I believe that the Lord had placed in my heart, get my own place and figure it out? I responded to her and I said, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I hung up the phone. I'm not going to lie to you. I did not take her phone call again for a couple years. I really didn't want to hear anybody discouraging me, to tell you the truth about it. But we are great friends today. I love her. So yeah, to answer your question, do you still speak with that person? The answer is yes, we're great friends. But during the time that I was figuring my journey out, I didn't speak to her. I didn't want to hear nobody speaking anything negative to me. And I'm going to tell you something, that journey was one of the hardest journeys. It was one of the hardest things I had ever did, to step out on my own and make something happen for myself for the first time ever since I had been living with a disability. But from that moment, I went on to not only get my own place, but I started my own business. I wrote 3 books. I got married and had 3 kids. Bought my own home. Went from using a power wheelchair to driving my own vehicle. I'm trying to tell you that that decision that day to not wait on somebody else to make it happen for me changed my whole life. You're going to have to make a decision. Are you going to sit around and keep waiting on other people to make things happen for you? Or are you going to take the bull by the horns and make some things happen for yourself? Because let me tell you something. If you're sitting around waiting on other people to make something happen for you, I'm going to tell you what the outcome going to be. Wishing, hoping, and crying. That's going to be the outcome. You're going to sit around and wish you had did something. You're going to sit around and be hoping that your life going to get better. You're going to sit around and cry because ain't nothing happened. But if you make a decision to not wait on somebody else, but to get up despite your situation, your circumstance, despite what your disability is, and make it happen for yourself, the outcome going to be joyful. There will be no regrets. You know, I think about this lady, Helen Keller. Everybody knows Helen Keller. She's probably one of the most powerful persons that ever lived with a disability. She's powerful. But she was born both deaf and blind. Now imagine what was going through the mind of those parents. And this lady went on to graduate college and do so many amazing things. Helen Keller is so amazing. And now there are institutions all over the world that are named after Helen Keller. The Helen Keller Institute for the Deaf and Blind. Teaching them how to do things that Helen Keller had defined. She defined her disability. She didn't let her circumstances define her. She defined it. I'm trying to tell you that nothing can stop you. The lady lost her ability to physically see, but she didn't lose her vision. The lady lost her ability to physically hear, but she didn't lose her ability to discern how great she can be. I'm trying to tell you that there are so many great things waiting for you. It's just waiting for you to make up your mind to decide that you're going to make it happen. Point number 3. Last point I want to make in our message. What can stop you from having your best life? Point number 3. Letting your situation limit you. Letting your situation limit you. Truth of the matter is that you are going to have some limitations. I'm paralyzed from my chest down to my feet. I can't give my own self a bath. I can't put my own clothes on. You know, somebody got to help me, you know, with things like going to the bathroom and different things like that. I have to depend on, you know, a power wheelchair and, you know, equipment and different things like that to be independent. So I have some limitations. But that disability, those limitations that come from that disability, they don't limit me. I'm trying to tell you that I shoot for the moon, and if I don't reach the moon, I'm going to fall among the stars, baby. I'm not going to let nothing stop me from doing what I need to do. I'm not going to let my disability limit me. And I'm trying to tell you that I don't know what your disability is right now. Those of you who are listening online, or what your situation is in life right now. But if you let it limit you, you're going to stay stuck in life. And I want to be sympathetic, and I want to be empathetic, to everybody's situation, because the truth of the matter is that even if somebody has the same type disability that you have, your disability is still unique and they still can't understand what it is that you have to deal with and go through on a daily basis. But what I'm trying to tell you is that at the end of the day, other people with disabilities are doing it. So that means that you can do it too. I remember I was limiting myself. And when I first came to Birmingham back in 1997, I came to a transitional living unit that sat on the campus of Lakeshore. And when I got over on that campus, it was the first time that I had saw other people with disabilities living a life. Man, they was playing basketball, tennis, on swimming teams in the Paralympics, and playing court rugby. Shoot, they tried to get me to play court rugby, and I went to a game one time, and I'll never forget. Court rugby is like literally quadriplegics in a wheelchair slamming into each other, trying to stop each other from getting the ball through a goal. It's a violent game. And I went to a game and I saw a quadriplegic get flipped over, and he had to lay there until the referee come and flip him back over. And when the referee flipped him back over, he had broke 2 of his fingers. And they just took some tape and wrapped his finger up and pushed him back out on the floor. At that point, I had decided I'm never playing court rugby. And I'll never forget the coach. The coach of the team was named Kevin Orr. And I told him, I said, Kevin, I'm not going to be able to play court rugby. He said, why not? I said, man, I just watched this guy break 2 fingers. And y'all put some tape on his finger and pushed him back out on the floor. And he said, well, you too pretty to play court rugby anyway. So, and it was the funniest thing. But what I'm trying to say is that there are no limitations. No limitations. When I saw those guys doing all of these amazing things, and I'll never forget, it was this guy named Bob Lagerno. Bob has all 4 of his limbs amputated, both of his arms and both of his legs. And this all happened to him while he was a child, while he was a kid. He wasn't born this way. His parents had to make a decision to amputate all 4 of his limbs in order for him to live, or keep his limbs, and whatever was going through his bloodstream, he would die. Imagine how hard that was for a parent to tell the doctor, go ahead and cut all 4 limbs off of your child. Imagine how hard that was for Bob to embrace that and go on to live a life. Well, I remember sitting out in front of the transitional living unit, and I saw this guy rolling down the sidewalk in his wheelchair with no arms and no legs. And I'm thinking to myself, wow. The guy goes over to I think it was like a Bronco or a Blazer or something, and he opens up the back end of this SUV, and he grabs a rope and pulls himself in through the back. Reaches back, gets his wheelchair, pulls it up in there. He crawls through there, gets in the driver's side seat, cranks this vehicle up and drives away. It was the most amazing thing I had ever seen done in my entire life. And I thought to myself right then that I'm never letting my disability limit me ever again. If a man like that can defy limitations, I can defy limitations too. And I'm telling you, whatever your disability is, and I'm empathetic through whatever it is that you're having to go through, you can defy limitations. Shoot for the moon. There's no limit for what you can accomplish. I was watching the Super Bowl last night. It's an amazing game, by the way. watching the Super Bowl, and there was this pretty amazing commercial that came on during the Super Bowl. Um, there was and the commercial featured the Paralympian Jessica Long. She's a Paralympian swimmer, and Jessica was born with a rare disease by which she had to have her legs amputated. And during the commercial, they showed the orphanage that she was in making a call to Miss Long, her adopted mother. And it said the social worker that was calling from the orphanage said, "Miss Long, got good news for you. We found a baby girl for you. But there is something that you need to know. She was born with a rare disease, and both of her legs have to be amputated. This will not be easy, Miss Long." Miss Long took a moment of silence, and she responded and said, "It will not be easy, but it will be amazing. I can't wait to meet my baby girl." And she adopted that child, and now Jessica Long has went on to be a Paralympian, a 23-time Paralympic medalist, and a 13-time Paralympic gold medalist. The girl defied the odds, and it is amazing. Let me tell you something. You're no less capable than when you were before you became disabled, before you became blind, before you became deaf, before you became paralyzed or lost your ability to walk. You're no less capable now than you were then. You just got to apply yourself in a different way. And if you use what you got, you can accomplish anything that you desire. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to start. You just may love the new story that you're going to write. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys getting on with me today. Miranda Williams, Evolve, Evolution, I like that. That was really, really good. Yolanda Lapsley said yes with an exclamation mark. I really hope that, this inspire you today. And Tanika Stevenson said this was confirmation there. So glad that this was confirmation for you. Melanie Roselle said, "Go with the Lord." Thank you. I am. There's no way for me to share my journey without sharing the Lord. So I'll continue to go with him. So if there are no other comments, nothing else that you want to put inside the chat, I want to thank you all so much for taking time to getting on with me today. And I want to thank Alexander Bynes once again with Alabama Care. I look forward to seeing you guys again at 1:15 p.m. on the second Monday of March. You guys have a great day.